Of course, as soon as I hit record, I start choking. That's awesome. So, 1 second. You're going where? Okay. All right. So today we're talking about elevator pitch, and I'm excited about this because, actually, Brandon, will you get me paper and pen before you go? Thanks. I wrote down some stuff, but I wanted us to brainstorm a little bit on this together. So, elevator pitch is hard, right? Like, I find myself all the time, people go, so what do you do? And I'm like, I teach people about essential oils and sell them. Like, that's so lame, right? Like, who cares? Or like, not that who cares, but like, that doesn't make anybody interested about what I do, right? Like, that's a pretty pathetic response. So I'm like, this is good because I need to work on this too because my elevator pitch stinks. Because like, how do you say what you do in 1 or 2 sentences? It's hard. So we're gonna nail it in 2 sentences today. It's gonna be awesome. So in my early days of doTERRA, people kind of went over this a little bit with an elevator pitch or whatever, and they basically talked about like their mission. Like they would give this really big, long response, like, let's see, I wrote one down, like I want to increase people's quality of life by sharing natural options to help them care for themselves and their families. Like, that's a beautiful response, but it's too wordy and complicated, I think. Do you guys think so?
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful.
It doesn't sound natural to me either.
It's like something that belongs written down in calligraphy and framed on the wall, right? Like, it's beautiful, but it's nothing that, like, people are like, oh, like, it's not everyday language, so they have a hard time connecting or even understanding with what you're saying. So anyway, hi, Brooke. How are you? She's not on. She's not hearing us yet. So that is fine to have one of those written down, and I think it's actually good for you to have something like that written down that includes your why and your purpose, because that's your like your mission statement. That's like your business mission statement, right? And that's your why. So something like that is really good for you to have written down and formulated and then like posted like next to your desk or something, right? But it's not something that you're really going to want to share with people. Okay, so I've been looking around and here's what I found for the best elevator pitch is to do 2 things. The first is to define a problem. And then the second is to describe your solution or your impact. So defining your problem or defining a problem is going to be, you know how people get sick and there's nothing you can do about it? Or, you know how you get a cold and nothing really seems to help? You know, so something, aren't you interested, right? If I ask that question, that's a very common problem. Well, I help people find ways to feel better when that happens to them. Or I give them natural solutions to help them feel better when they have a cold in the winter and there's nothing they can do. So there you go. That's it. The end. So I thought it'd be fun if we brainstormed a little bit for different ideas on this, because we all are going to have different ideas, right? Or elevator pitches of problems. So
I'll tell you one.
Yeah, so tell me so let's talk about problems and I think it's good if they kind of start with, you know how, or you know when. Well, can you do it that way? Will it work?
I don't know. I was just going to give you an example how I got a one-on-one this week.
Oh yeah. Oh, do. Well, then it's good. You got a one-on-one.
So I'm at work, you know, I have that diffuser in the bathroom. That's been a really good thing for me to have.
Right.
And somebody was in there while I was filling it up. And she says, you know, everybody talks about your diffuser, but what's its purpose? And why do you have it here? And I said, well, you know how hard your job is? Because she works in customer service and they deal with a lot of mean people. And she says, yes. And I says, I run this in this bathroom to help you guys because I put a lot of mood oils in it, and I have a lot of people from your department come in and just take a 5-minute break in here and just breathe it in. And she's like, well, what good is that? And I says, well, it's really good for emotional support. It just helps calm you down. Or, that day I had a calming oil in it. And then I said, but I have other oils in there, like I do citrus, and they really help to lift you up. And I just kind of explained it. And she's like, I would love to learn more about this. How do I do that?
That's
I said,
awesome.
I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you.
That's perfect. But you started it with the problem.
Right. And
So
I hadn't even thought of it like that.
Yeah, you totally did. So, and that's kind of the hook, right? That's what gets people interested. They're interested because, you've got them on board, right? Like, yeah, I do know how that's a problem.
Yep, I followed up with her today, and she's like, I want to learn so much more. I'm just Googling. She's not on Facebook, so that makes it harder, but she is all about, I told her where she can go find classes. I told her where she can find information, how to, Google this and Google this. And she's got my emotions book and my modern essentials book right now.
Oh, wow.
And she asked me several good questions today.
That's awesome. Okay, so Stacy's question was, you know how your job is stressful. Okay, who's got another question?
You know how you have trouble sleeping?
So yeah, and you can even say, you know how some people have trouble sleeping? Or you could say most people, a lot of people, any of those, yeah.
You know how your child has those temper tantrums when they're 3?
Yeah, statements like that happen to everybody, right? So yeah, so do you guys get the idea? Do you guys have any other ideas of ones that you want to kind of work on and follow through? Like what's one you... Let's see. Oh, pregnant Brooke. Oh, she made it. Woo!
Made it to the unmute button. That was a lot of work today.
I mean, you worked hard for that.
I really did. It was a lot of work. I'm stuck in this couch. I can't move.
Oh, that was so adorable.
I feel like a giant whale.
Who's growing a human being.
So I always seem to run across other moms.
Right.
Moms I'm talking to. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to say the question exactly, but something along the lines of you know how one of your kids gets sick and then it spreads to the next one and the next one, and then pretty soon everyone is wiped out from the flu, and then it all cycles back around because everyone went on antibiotics. And anyways, you can keep going with this.
Right.
That chain reaction is just.
So to make it short though, you could say, you know how when one of your kids gets sick and shares it with the entire family?
And then everyone has it.
Yeah.
Well, I help, and then you can kind of go from there. But I was kind of thinking, as you were saying this, because I think when you run into someone, there's not that you should always make assumptions, but kind of like how Stacy was saying, maybe that lady was from customer service.
Right.
You need to know much about her, just that she's from customer service. So I think if you can kind of pinpoint just something about that person, if you're at a soccer game, okay, you all have children. This is a parent. You can assume at least some general things about them.
Right.
I think that's what you should gear your question to.
Yeah, so I think it's good to have a few of these kind of made up, right? To have a few different elevator pictures.
Yeah.
Elevator pictures. Elevator pitches. For the record, I did not get my nap this morning.
Yeah.
I usually take a nap on Thursday morning so that I'm alert for the call on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Anyway, I quit right. I know. I can't help it. They water so bad, Stacy. Okay. So And this is why I probably have it in both of my eyes. Okay. Okay, and then everyone. Okay, sorry. What was the last thing you said, Brooke?
Oh, like of the problem on that one?
Of the what?
Of the problem or just what we were talking
Oh,
about?
no. Just right after that. Sorry. So you said, because I said, do you think you should have a few of these like ready or on hand?
Yeah, I was just thinking like try to gear it towards whoever, like the person you're speaking to. So if you're speaking to someone who's maybe elderly, chances are they have some aches and pains. Maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe the question could be something like, you know how as we tend to get these aches and pains and stuff, and it's really annoying having to take medications for everything. Well,
Yes.
I provide natural solutions that help with that, or I help people find more natural solutions that, yeah.
So good. Okay, so that's a good one. So, okay, and Lorraine's got one too. We got to look at too. So yeah, so some of the basic ones obviously are like staying healthy, right? Or like getting sick, because we're in that season, right? Everybody's getting sick. Sleep is a huge one. Most people don't feel like they sleep well or that they sleep enough. Aches and pains.
Yeah, aches and pains and stress. Everyone has stress.
Yes, and then stress.
Example.
Absolutely. And then if you want it, like right there, those 4, you could probably just stick with those 4 and you could cover everybody on the planet.
Yep.
Energy's a big one too.
Yes, it is. Fatigue, energy. Yep. Yeah. So you could say anything like, you know how people are always getting sick this time of year? You know how nobody ever really feels like they get enough sleep? Or you know how people get all those aches and pains? So you guys get the gist of this, right? Like you're just making it whatever. You know how everybody's like stressed out and grumpy these days? Well, I'm not, because I'm always drowning in essential oil. No. So, okay, Lorraine says she needs help coming up with a better question along these lines. You know how you go to the doctor when you're sick and all they do is prescribe antibiotics? So she doesn't want to sound anti-doctor. So, are we assuming that most people think and know that antibiotics are bad? Does everybody know that yet?
No. Some people want.
I mean, obviously, hello. I'm not saying all antibiotics are bad. I mean, they've saved my son's life a few times, but
not as a first resort.
Yeah, right. So maybe let's say I wouldn't go near the antibiotics, but you could say, oh, so you don't want to sound anti-doctor all the time. First resort. Okay, got it.
More like along the lines, Lorraine, of like saving yourself time. So you know how frustrating it is to have to go to the doctor for every single little thing to get a prescription? Well, I help provide people and empower people with their own solutions that they can do at home.
Brooke should be teaching this class. That was perfect.
Mm-hmm. No, you guys are that's a good one. Like that just got my brain going.
That was very good. Yeah, just keep it on generic getting sick. Yeah, I would. And what a pain, and just you can focus around what a pain it is to go to the doctor, because nobody likes to go to the doctor. The kids get exposed to other things while they're there. It costs time and money. Like it's just, and it's never a positive experience. I mean, not never. Now I sound anti-doctor.
Yeah, because then it's sound like you're more putting down like the time it takes and all that, not necessarily.
Yeah, you're blaming it on the other things. Yeah. Then you have to go, the hassle. Wait in line at the pharmacy.
The high deductible costs. Because so many of us are going on high deductibles anymore.
Except Minot, who gets everything free. Through her high taxes. Right?
I don't know.
Oh. Anyway, so does that help, Lorraine?
Okay, I'm going on.
Okay.
I guess why I got involved was because my daughter always got ear infections, and every time we went in, she always got an antibiotic, and we're talking like 5 times in a year, all the time. And it's like, there's got to be something else that isn't going to make it worse, cause something else. And when you go to the doctor, that's kind of the go-to for everything is, here, let's write a prescription. And again, I don't want to sound anti-doctor, but at the same time, you want alternatives. So
Right.
if you're talking to someone who you think might be looking for alternatives, how would you word that question so you don't sound anti-doctor or, yeah, let's get rid of doctors kind of a thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a suggestion that is not along the same lines as the format you're looking at, but it was by Elise Chedevy.
Mhm.
Do you know her? She's doTERRA Diamond? I don't know.
Oh
Anyway.
no, she's the highest ranking. She's a
That's
double
her.
presidential.
Okay,
She's
so,
actually like quadruple, but yeah.
okay, so how she responds to what do you do for a living? She says, "Oh, I do this great thing. I sell natural medicine. It's effective, it's safe, and it's cheap." That's her line.
Yep.
And
she
when I
does.
heard that, I thought, oh my gosh, that is so like to the point, but still very, very effective in the sense that it's great, it's fun, it's effective, it's cheap. Are you not interested in asking more questions at this point?
Yeah. That is a good one.
I loved it.
Yep. It's perfect. It's awesome.
So if someone like Lorraine, if you were saying like, instead of going maybe in that, here's the problem, here's a solution kind of format, if you respond to, what do you do for a living, then I just do this great thing.
The funnest thing. The funnest, that's not a word.
Yeah.
I do the most fun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I provide people with natural medicine.
Yeah. Yep, that is one. And she does it with such enthusiasm.
Yeah.
She's so high energy.
Mm-hmm.
So high energy. So yeah. So that coming from her, just it exudes like fun and excitement. That's her too. So yeah. So and if that's your energy, then definitely you could totally pull that off.
Yeah.
For sure. So yeah, she's so funny. Marilyn Boomin, this is so funny. Have anybody ever seen Elise Chedevy in person, like seen her present or videos? Okay.
I met her in Hawaii.
Oh, you did?
Did.
Wow.
Okay. So she is like so high energy and stuff. Marilyn Boomin.
She's the TerraFit.
Yeah, she's the TerraFit.
So I saw her at some I don't know thing they had put up in Hawaii. It wasn't like a post-convention tour thing, but anyways, they had like several different speakers and all these different booths set up, and
She was there.
a couple people to it, and I saw her. I was like, I've done her videos. I need to go talk to her. Like,
Good for you.
So
She's pretty cool. She's a very dynamic woman. But and this is totally just like this random side note. I just thought this was so funny. Marilyn Boomin, the first time after she saw her at convention, she was like, oh my goodness. She goes, you're going to be taking like LLV with Mighty Max just to like be in the same room as her. And I just thought that was like so funny because that is her. Like she's like, you have to be taking Mighty Max just to breathe the same air as Alicia. But yeah, she's very much a go-getter. Such a go-getter. So anyway, okay, so sorry. So back to Lorraine's question. So do you feel like you got a question or no? Do you want one? You want a different one? Kind of, sort of? Okay, because what was the one you said, Brooke? I know it's always hard to regurgitate perfect things you thought of.
Okay, I wrote it down. So you know how frustrating it is having to go to the doctor every time the littlest thing comes up. But Lorraine, where you want to, like, if you're talking to someone who you think is kind of fed up with, like you were saying.
Yeah, she said she was looking for somebody who was looking for more of an alternative.
Yeah, so you could do it something along the lines maybe of.
I don't know. I guess people are not so much fed up yet, maybe. I was pretty fed up. I mean, I was pretty, I'm tired of doctors that have never had a nutrition class. I'm tired of, just addressing the pain or the thing and not getting to the root of the problem kind of thing, and was just looking elsewhere. And I don't know if there's that many people. I think we need more generic hooks like you guys are talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more rare to come across that person unless you actually know them, because there's almost no way to know if someone's at that point.
Yeah, I
Unless you
agree.
actually know them personally. So, I don't know. I mean, if you do know them personally, that is something you could go maybe with, like, how frustrating it is when you've been to the doctor for the same thing over and over and over again, and they just keep prescribing the same stuff, and it's just not getting the results you want. I provide an alternative.
Unfortunately, if you know somebody that well to know what's going on, they probably know what you do.
They probably do. So, I don't know. I think for this, where it's an elevator pitch, like literally where you're just meeting someone and you're just sharing what you do.
Yeah.
I would try to go generic.
Did you see what Stacy wrote in the chat, Lorraine? So do you know how everybody is going to the doctor this time of year? I provide natural ways to avoid the doctor. That's a pretty good, but not anti-doctor. Because doesn't everybody want to avoid the doctor? I mean.
Yes.
I think so.
It kind of goes back to the apple a day quote.
Yeah. For sure.
Preventative.
I offer ways to prevent that visit to the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or deter from whatever.
From having to go.
If somebody had told me that when my daughter was younger, because we did the ear infections, we did 22 ear infections and 2 surgeries in like 4 years. And I had no idea about this stuff back then. No clue. And if somebody would have come and talked to me and said that, I would have been all over looking into it further. We did the whole antibiotic thing over and over and over and over again, and she's got permanent stomach issues from it.
So this elevator pitch, are you using this when you're just a one-on-one, like when someone's asking you what you do, or in a group setting? Because
because you have this.
Yeah, like in a group setting, hey, what do you do? And there's like 5 people around you, you're having a conversation, networking conversation, or a chat with so many people at the same time.
Yep.
It's not always easy to use a line like that.
Well, you could still pick a generic one.
Yeah.
And seasonal, because, sick season, you're obviously talking about, when you get the colds and flu and stuff like that, or if it's spring, even spring cleaning stuff, or even summer safe suntan stuff you can make, or, seasonally.
Yeah.
I think your safest ones to stick with are those few that we talked about, like that kind of everybody deals with: the sleep, aches and pains, stress, and energy levels. Like, those are something that I think are safe to say to a group of men or women, regardless.
And pick one.
Yeah, what'd you say, Brooke?
What would be a good stress one? If you were to write one for stress.
For stress, I would say something like,
do you know how the holidays are driving everyone nuts and you're stressed out? Well, I provide great solutions.
Look at me now. That's awesome. I like that one. That's really good.
That's a good one for busy moms, too.
Mm-hmm.
And who isn't a busy mom? Honestly, if you've got kids, you're busy.
Everybody's busy. Like, it doesn't even matter. But yeah.
So how you're frazzled with all that running around with your kids.
Everybody
I can help with that in natural ways.
Yeah. And you could even, like, if you're talking to a mom, like, you could even throw in there, like, I help provide, I totally just lost my train of thought. Like something to avoid I have an oil for avoiding the mean mom or whatever, your alter ego. So with this though, keep in mind like who your target market is. And so you guys know, right? Like who's your target market? Who is our target market in doTERRA?
Younger moms, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
20s, 30s.
Well, up to 40 in 40s. So it's actually 30s to 40s. 20s, people are still poor.
That's true.
We don't know what's wrong with Kaylee. Why I'm just kidding. Actually, Brooke, you're still in your 20s. Aren't you? No. Okay. I didn't want to insult anybody by assuming.
Okay.
Mano, how old are you? Are you in your 30s?
Oh, yes.
All right. Phew. Okay, we're all in our 30s. Oh, well, wait, except for 40s.
Except for me.
Okay, so or 50s. Okay, so typically our target market are moms, so women for sure, right? But moms, even more specifically, 30 to 40 years old, like or 30s and 40s, not 30 to 40, but 30s and 40s. Because, well, for a few reasons, but we're the nurturers, right? So we're going to provide for everybody else as well as ourselves. We want to make sure everybody's feeling their best, right? Whether we have children or not, we all have motherly instincts. And we're going to be mothering our neighbors and our
nieces and nephews.
Or
Colleagues and
yes, everybody, right? We want to fix everybody. Sorry, Lorraine said, so then some more sentences for kids. Possibly, but you don't want to get too specific, right? But yeah, you could just have one for moms. And I would just keep it generic, like kids getting sick or kids not getting enough sleep. Something super, super generic. I totally just lost my train of thought.
or do you know how kids always have issues sleeping, homework,
Yeah.
getting sick? I provide natural solutions.
Yep, that's a good one. Okay, sorry. So what were we talking about? What was I talking about before that? Oh my gosh, you guys, I totally just like lost that train of thought like so hard before I stopped to read Lorraine's thing. Target market. Okay. Oh, so the other reason for that, and I thought this was really interesting, is you actually supposedly know the most people that you'll ever know in your life in your 40s.
What?
Yeah. Because after that, everybody starts dying, I guess. Like, that sounds horrible, but it's true.
Well, I think some of that also is that when you've got kids, you're forced to socialize a lot more.
Yes.
And once your kids are out, unless you're a really sociable person,
You don't meet as many people.
yeah, that's my personal opinion.
I totally agree with that. So, and then, yeah, and once your kids are like, yeah, out of the house.
'Cause if you think about who your friends are, it's either people you know at church, people you know at work, or your
from
kids'
school. Yep.
families, or your kids' friends' families.
So true. So, yeah. So if you're
Or
looking for a
soccer,
builder on your team, so
or-
there you go. Look for somebody
Yeah.
in their 40s. They know the most people. Anyway, so that's your target market. So just keeping that in mind, you can gear your elevator pitch around that and then not really worry about if you're talking to a man or a woman who's younger or older, because chances are they will have already thought of somebody in their head. If it doesn't pertain to them, they will have thought of somebody else, right? That would probably work for. Then you could get into a whole referral thing, but that's another day. But yeah, anyway.
Another thought that crossed my mind is tell our spouses what our elevator pitch is, because when people ask, oh, what does your wife do? He goes, oh, she mixes potions. Like,
That's wonderful.
right? Like,
That's a great,
not that
great
my
idea.
husband does that, but I mean, like, for your spouse to be prepared to correctly answer that is going to give you credibility or not based on the answer, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that, Minnow, because yeah, for your husband to be at work or we're talking to the other guys, and you could just train him on the aches and pains one, right? Just be like, oh, you know how like we all get those aches and pains? Well, she has this magical stuff that makes everything go better. Right? Or some way that a guy would say it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's a great idea because so many men don't know what to say. She peddles snake oils. Like that's what they say.
She sells oils from home and people are like, what?
What does that mean? Like
Yeah.
cooking oils? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a really, really, really good idea. I like that. Okay, cool. All right. So what do you guys think? Do you think you can write an elevator pitch or teach one to your husband this week?
Teaching one to the husband, I'm not so sure about.
Oh, Kenton can do it. Write it down for him. He can like pull it out, read it, memorize it.
Wait just a second. My wife. I'm just joking around.
Oh, yeah. But what do you guys think? Because this is something I want to do because I used to have this down and I've like bombed it.
I
Like,
love the idea of keeping it super simple.
Super simple.
Having a few super
I
simple
looked,
ones.
actually did some research on this, right? Like outside of doTERRA and just looked at like, what do people typically say for their elevator pitch? And like, what are things that different business people do or what do they say? And the most part, they're too long and they're too selfish, like that nobody really cares, right? But anyway, and the one common thread that I found among like the better ones were the captivating ones, right? The question like that poses the problem and then provides the solution. Because they were saying like, hey, yeah, you know how there's like no good Italian restaurants around here? Yeah, well, I just opened one around the corner. You know? So anyway, okay, Lorraine said, can you say medicine or do we need natural solutions? You can say whatever you want. When you're talking to somebody, I mean, you can tell them you're curing cancer with frankincense. It doesn't matter.
Just
As
make
long
sure
as you're
you
not
do it in writing.
As long as you're not posting it on social media. You can say whatever you want, which is why we still need to be careful on our Facebook classes a little bit. But everywhere else, if anything's you're talking, you can say whatever you want to say.
I just thought of something.
What?
Facebook classes in Canada, I guess we got to be careful as to what we say as well.
Do you? Probably.
I don't know.
I would just to be safe.
I'm actually having a discussion with Flora tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. So I will ask her about that.
Yeah, just good. I'm glad you got a hold of her finally. So yeah, just ask her if the compliance guidelines are about the same. If she doesn't know, you could just email compliance@doterra.com and ask them. They would know.
Okay. Way past bedtime, you need to get to sleep.
So they would know if it's the same in Canada as it is in the United States. But I mean, ours seem okay. I mean, there's a few things that I kind of throw out there that I'm like, that was a little edgy, but it's okay. Yeah, I've never had anybody call me out on it. But I mean, as long as you're not, like I said, there's a few keywords, you know. Cure.
No, yeah.
Cure is a bad word.
Correct.
Yeah, so as long as you're not claiming to cure anything, you're probably good for social media.
You have to be careful about comparing it to medicine on social media still too, don't you?
I I
That's
think
for another night.
I think
I don't know.
so.
I got in
I'm
trouble
trying to
for a lot
remember.
of mine, but that's been
They've changed
when the
so much.
FDA
They've really
was
loosened
first
up.
cracking down. So
Yeah. I think so. That's my guess, is I would think that's still something you would need to be cautious with. But you can get around it, right? Like you can
Yeah.
say, I love that I can use my DigestZen to also help me, to help me with tummy troubles, but as well as like sinus infections, whatever. Like what can your Pepto-Bismol help you with besides tummy troubles, whatever. So you could say something like that, but you couldn't say, I use my DigestZen instead of Pepto-Bismol.
exactly.
But you can hint around so they get the idea. We're going to say something, Minnow?
Yeah, I can. Before I go, can we just repeat the categories you were mentioning, the generic ones? So we had sleep.
Oh, yes, for sure. So we had getting sick.
Okay.
Or staying healthy, whichever way you want it to go. If you want to take it. It seems getting sick is more, because sometimes people hear staying healthy and they don't connect the two.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say, I help people to boost their immune systems naturally. You know how everybody's getting sick this time of year? Well, I provide options for people to have a stronger immune system.
Yeah.
You can word that much better than I just
But
did.
no, that was good. On the fly, it's so hard. Like I totally get like stage fright and can't think
And
of
this
something.
time of night,
I
my
know.
brain doesn't work as
Here
well.
we are, sleep deprived and trying to come up with things off the top of our head. I must give credit. Minnow and Brooke have it on tonight, though. And you're both East Coast time zones. I don't know. You guys are like animals.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Hear what you said.
What did I say? Oh, I was just giving you kudos. You guys are like, you've got your cognitive ability high functioning tonight.
I just don't know how I do that.
Okay, so getting sick, sleep, aches and pains, stress,
And kids' issues.
energy levels, or you can say kids.
Energy levels. Okay.
All of those are good generic topics that could get to most people. Yeah. Cool. Okay, well, I'm going to end here, and then I will do a special secret announcement for people who missed it last week.